Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 24th episode of Happy Hour with CarnaticON. This is Archana, the founder, and today I have here with me Prashanth Srinivas. Hi, Prashanth.
Hi, Ashana. How's
How
it
are
going?
you?
I'm good.
Good,
Just
good.
trying
Hanging
whether
in
the
there.
tripod angle is accurate or not is all I'm
Angle
doing
is
right now.
fine. Don't worry about it.
I know. Good.
Okay, good. So, how are you doing today?
I'm cool. I sort of allocated these couple of hours for the interview. Apart from that, I'm working on this EP of mine, so it's taking up some of my time and it's slightly, like it's slightly off in terms of scheduling. It's because I have to handle all aspects of the EP from the audio aspect to the other stuff as well. So I'm slightly all over the place. But apart from that, it's the standard, every day is all over the place. So it's fine.
Being all over the place is like a sign of hustling, right? I mean, we're all hustlers, so I think it's good, right? It's good to be all over the place sometimes. You don't want to be stuck in like a boring job doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, I think having like an Excel sheet or something also helps because you can organize it. If not, then yeah, it's just as things happen, you just have to allow them to happen and then see how it goes. I guess the artist in me always speaks like that, and the engineer in me is like saying Excel sheets. But the artist is saying it'll happen, it'll flow, just relax. All that. So
Constant struggle. I think we're all living a dual life. I think we totally relate to what you're saying, right? So we'd love to hear more about you, Prashant. So talk about yourself. So what do you do, and who are your gurus? How did you get introduced to music? We'd like to hear all of that today.
that's a lot of questions. So I would suggest it's easier if you ask me the questions as compared to I answering it because I'll be again all over the place in terms of how I answer. Starting with music as usual, I'm a Tambram child from Chennai, India. So all of us had to learn Carnatic music at age whatever. Like as soon as we start to speak, we start to learn Carnatic music. So I learned that for the first 2, 3 years of my life. And then I got like I think upset because the music teacher used to like snap me on my knuckles each time I was to sing something wrong. So I said I'm not like okay with this. So after that we stopped it actually. So I stopped learning music after that for easily 8, 9 years. And then I started it again in class 6 I think. In Bombay. So over there it was with this teacher of mine called Veena Shastri ma'am, and she had taught me for like 8, 9 years after that. So I learned vocal Carnatic music for like 8, 9 years. Um, After that again it was just I think IIT classes, engineering, all that happened,
Typical.
and I had asked Appa at that point in time if I could pursue this field at the start itself, like pre-undergrad. And he said, no, just try to like aim to like complete the engineering thing first and then see how far it takes you. It's because he was thinking it's only a phase. And then I said, okay, so all through all through en en in like Singapore, I was always in the field of music. Like I was playing in school bands and college bands and playing keyboards for all these ensembles. And then I got an IT job. It's because I didn't want my family to pay for my artistic side. So I said, I again ego trip, right? So you're like, no, I'll pay for everything I want to do and all that. So I said, okay. And then I was like working. I mean, like, so I was like working like in IT for like a a couple of years, and in the evenings I would like for sound engineering classes in Singapore. So it was like an active day where all day was like IT and all evening was audio engineering. In which I found out. There I sort of found out how to work in a studio and like how to operate those huge items with shaders and knobs and all those things. After that was the AR Rahman School of Music that happened in Chennai, in which I had to like convince my family that chhod chhad ke I have to come back into music full time. It took about 8 months to explain to them that. look, I think I can actually do this and handle this and so on and so forth. So I did the program there for about a couple of years in Chennai, and after that I went to Los Angeles because I got into a master's program there in orchestration and film scoring. It's because I mean, like, it's because my whole aim was also to work in film, and in the whole in terms of trying to combine the sound art form into the image art form. So I'm quite close to that kind of angle. So scoring is what it's called. Scoring for films is, I mean, like, scoring for films is, like, is what I was into. So I went to Hollywood, and then I studied there for like a couple of years, and then I've come back to India, and now I'm here, and I'm doing ads and films and OTT platform shows and all kinds of things. And I have, I mean, like, I mean, like, I mean, I mean, like, I mean, like, I mean, like, I mean, so like, I'm like, I mean, like, so like, I'm like, I mean, like, so like, I'm like, sort of headquartered here in RagaHaus Studios. That's my brand name. So,
Yeah, I
and
was
that's
just gonna ask you, what is that cool new logo behind you?
yeah. So that's basically it's a combination of two words. That's RAG, Raga. That's the Indian word for a scale, and HAUS is the Austro-German word for someone's artistic home. So it's a sort of equal blend of East and West. So it's sort of like that. And yeah, it's my own. Sort of like, it's like my own word in a sense. So it isn't actually a word.
It's actually a very
Um,
cool word.
yeah,
Yeah, it's very nice.
like 8 letters,
And
even all that is quite cool for that. So that's quite interesting.
so I see a lot
Yeah,
of people in our, in your generation, right? I mean, I'm going to separate my generation from yours
your
because I think
generation.
you're a lot. Yeah, I think
How
so.
how old are you?
You don't want to ask me how old I am, but I'm an 80s kid. Okay, let's just say I'm an 80s kid. You're probably a
Early
90s
90s.
kid.
Early
Early
90s. Early.
90s. Okay, okay. Yeah, maybe. Okay, our generation. So,
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of this mixing of genres going on. I see a lot of
Yeah.
different artists that we speak to who've been experimenting with, say, Western classical and Indian classical, because obviously these are people that have been exposed to different cultures.
Yeah.
Some of them have grown up abroad, some of them have been exposed to, say, different cultures because they went there for their masters or whatever. But eventually, I think when they do get exposed to these different genres and they try to combine, it kind of defines their personality in very unique ways, right? That is something that is, I think, awesome about this generation, because the idea to experiment, the idea to innovate and everything is, I think that is very unique. I'm sure things like this have happened in the past also, but I think now it's just become a lot more popular, or it's so prevalent that almost everybody we speak to is experimenting with Indian classical in some way or the other.
Yeah. I think there's this phrase that everyone just keeps talking. No, no, not. I mean, like, it's like a phrase. I mean, like, it's like a word called fusion. So I call
Fusion.
like the word fusion the F word. I say like it's the F word only because it is like so overused in our time. It's because I think all of us aren't clear on the idea of fusion. I know the F word joke always works, but but like the whole idea is that I think exposure to a style is not the same as being trained in a style.
Right.
So exposure implies that I was like in Africa for about a week, and I heard African instruments, and all of a sudden I'm influenced by African instruments, right? Or if you spend like 8 months in Africa and train yourself in African instruments, and after that come back and apply that into your art form, it's called training, right?
Right.
So I feel that the thing that's happening right now is that we are easily influenced by all kinds of styles across the world, all because of uh, technology and like communication and all that, that we claim to know all the genres.
Access to
And
free
I
content.
find, yeah, so access doesn't imply that you actually know the content. So I find that, so I spent about, I think, easily 8 years of my life just training myself in astro. In like two classical forms, so which is basically Indian classical and in Western classical orchestration and all that. After that, you also see that there's this thing called global music, or like each country has its own kind of style and ethnic angles. So I feel that it's important to have to I mean like to like I mean like to I mean like to I mean like to like have a strong base in at least one or two things, and after that it's easy to expand and say that I'll add some Afro-Cuban influences or some some Iberian influences into my music and so on. So I mean it's like it's easy and hard at the same time. It's easy in terms of access, and it's hard in terms of try, trying to go hardcore into the idea of each genre. So I feel that I'd like so like sort of each time I explore like a style, like say if I explore EDM, I'll spend about 2 months and just analyze every EDM artist out there and find out how it works. And after that, say that I can now add that into my music. So I'm quite like staunch in that sense in saying that I'd like to like treat every style with izzat, I would say, and sort of handle it with like with like
Yeah, I think, I mean,
some
so, I think the exposure is just the beginning to your passion into that art
right,
form, right? I
right,
mean, what you do out of that is totally up to you. But
right, right,
I think a lot of, when I say our generation is taking an interest in this art form, they pursue it very seriously. And, in order to be able to make good music and, be of some sort of appeal to that demographics, you have to be good at both. And I
right,
think,
of course.
some of these guys have been doing it incredibly well. So, yeah, I mean, hats off to all of you that are trying to, fuse music,
Yeah.
the effort, but, trying to fuse music, but, but it does sound great, sometimes it does sound great. So,
Right.
okay, so you did bring up a couple of very interesting points there, Prashant. So, when you experiment with art forms, say two completely diverse art forms, how does your teacher, how does your instructor react to that?
By instructor
Are
as in
they,
who
as in
like
whoever you learn from, your guru,
oh, right, right,
when
right.
you go back to them and show them your work, what is their reaction? I'm curious.
So I was fortunate to have been trained by someone who was teaching Carnatic music in Bombay. So which means that she is already out of her land of purity and sacrosanct rules of like I mean like strict Carnatic music. So as soon as you come to Bombay, you already know that it's also an industry, and it's also like this. I mean like sort of like the aim of Carnatic music here is to just showcase a style of music. So it means that you are slightly more open in terms of accepting styles from outside, and each singer has like his or her own style, and each harkat isn't supposed to be done in that way. It can be done some other way. All that is. Something I was open to from a very early age, and I think it all comes down to who I was taught by. It's because she I know that when I was quite young, and I mean, like it's like a very old story that when I was in class 5 or 6, my voice started to break, right? And I was training with a bunch of, I think it was 5 girls and 2 boys, of which I was one. So as soon as my octave started to change a little bit, she kind of asked me to sing in the octave that's lower. So say if there's someone singing higher, I have to sing lower. So all my harkats are going to be odd as compared to how the high range harkats are going to be. So she was always open to all of those alterations, saying that, "Ha, it's okay. It's आपका style hai, आपका vibe hai. It's okay." So that kind of style I was always open to from an early age. So I feel like as do as like it kept me like as like it kept you also that each artist speaks from his art form. So if I blend two two extreme art forms, it'll be how I would like to blend it. So again, each artist is going to have his own
Style.
alteration of that,
Yeah,
style.
absolutely. So, I mean, I remember, okay, so when I was learning music, I did my Vishada from, from Maharashtra Mandal. And when I was learning music, it was a very different time. It was when we had to, like you said, we had to kind of master just that one art form. And our exposure to different genres at that time was very limited. So
Yeah,
when I wanted to, like, when I auditioned for Indian Idol, my teacher was very, she was like, okay, do you really want to do this? Because Indian Idol, it's a different art form. Do you really want to
yeah,
do this? Have you thought about it and all that? So it did take a little bit of convincing at,
yeah,
back in the day, right? But I think now it's all changed. Like, now obviously there is so much exposure, and also artists themselves want versatility, right? Because in order to impress your audience, you obviously
yeah.
have to adapt to their style, and
Right,
not every place that you perform is going to be the same, right?
right.
Artists these days, they travel the world, and when they go and perform in front of like so many different audiences, you obviously want to kind of get those applause from them, right? So you have to change a little bit in order to bridge the gap between the
Right.
artist and the audience. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's good. It's good that your teacher was very receptive, and it's good that she was more open to giving you feedback about combining the two art forms and all of that. I think you were incredibly lucky.
Also, like I mean, like our I think it was her friend's student was Shankar Mahadevan. So whenever like he would sing, I would try to sing like him a lot. So I think she was also open to sort of altered styles. Like I remember I was like trying some haircuts in his style, and he was like, "Huh, but you try that in his style, in his song only. आपका song आप आपकी style में गाओ." And like his song you sing it in his style. So I think that openness and that I mean like that uh, clarity of thought is quite awesome to have at a very early age in life. And yeah,
That's awesome. So what are some of your major performances? Is there anything that you recollect fondly, or is there anything that you totally dread? This was the worst performance ever. So, are there very specific performances that you recollect?
it's been all kinds of things, man. It's been like it's stuff that I've sung, there's stuff that I've played keyboards for, then there's stuff that I've played flute for also. And I don't know, it's all over the place. So I don't actually know of any
You
specific.
don't have
And
this
like the
one.
thing with stage shows is that after it happens, you're like done. So so I'm always like, oh, the
I
stage
have
show's
no
over.
memory of anything that I
I
did in the
don't
last
know.
half
It's
hour.
finished. Finished. I can now move on to what I have to do next. So that's
Totally,
how like I
totally.
think. Yeah.
So, do you miss the energy of a live performance, or have you always been a studio person?
No, no, no. I mean, I've been like a hybrid. So in fact, we had even played on Valentine's Day again. Like after about a year, we started playing again in Bombay. So we uh, performed here. I mean, again, like it was quite cool because all of us are artists who have played often here after we've come to Bombay, and then I mean, like after the pandemic, we've not played for like a year, and all of a sudden we start playing again, and all of us on stage are like, "Is that the song? Are we right? Are these the chords?" And we're like, "It's so weird. It's because all of us haven't played in so long that we were all like so, I mean, like so excited to go on stage that songs ही भूल गए." It's like, क्या song था इसके साथ? Oh, it's that one. And we're like, all this was like so. I mean, like, like, all of it like used to play so often on stage that we were so habituated to saying that it's like instinct, right? And say if you stop playing for like a year, it's all just out the window. So again, you have to start from scratch and plan it out and do it again. But like, it was fun. At least the audience had fun. Playing some old songs, like old like Hindi songs, and we were playing. Yeah, it was a very I mean, pyar wala theme kind of show. So it's a like
Valentine's Day tha
kind
to.
of Valentine's vibe. So it was cool. So we played like English songs, Hindi songs, Ed Sheeran to R.D. Burman, right? That kind of stuff.
Talking about Ed Sheeran, you've worked with a bunch of artists in Hollywood, right? So talk about that experience. How is it different from say the Indian diaspora?
Yeah, so I was there to do my masters in like film scoring. After that, we have to stay there under the OPT for like a year if we can, and then probably extend it to the arts visa if we want to. So under the OPT, I was there for like a year, and I interned with two Hollywood composers. Uh, it was interesting because I mean, it's a different place entirely. So they are into the orchestra vibe a lot, and for them, like our music is like a different flavor as compared to it being like a thing in itself. So I used to play the flute a lot over there. So I used to like help them out with some ethnic sounds, is what they used to call it, uh, of the flute. And then I used to also like help them or straight stuff for them. So I'd worked on this film called Justice League. If you've like heard of Justice League, the one that came out now.
Yeah,
Then I worked on the trailer for that, and then a handful of other projects. That's all on my IMDb and all that.
sweet. So talk about teaching at you were a
I
faculty
was also
member
teaching at
at
A.R. Rahman Sir School. Yeah,
AR
yeah,
Rahman Sir School. Yeah, so talk about that experience, Prashanth. We would love to
I
hear.
was teaching audio technology, so that's basically how to handle all the faders and knobs and how to make art out of a computer. And I think the thing, I mean, so I'm not a big fan of teaching music, but except it's something that just happened to me. I was told I'm awesome at it, except I don't know why I hadn't enjoyed it as much. It's because I think age-wise, I felt I was like it was like too early in my life to teach. So I think if you ask me this 8 9 years from now, I'll probably say yes. But I felt I'm still like early on in my days, so I'm not sure how to transfer information to somebody who's just starting
I
out.
do wanna interject here and tell you that at CarnaticON our youngest instructor is 15 years old.
Yeah,
So yes,
I
so
agree I'm
I think
wrong, except I just felt that about how it was happening. And yeah,
I
so
mean, from she is so we brought her on the show, right? And one of the things she said was she never knew what kind of teacher she's going to turn out to be. But then
right.
she said teaching students clears a few concepts in her own head,
Of
right? There
course,
were like
yeah,
a lot of things that she wasn't even exposed to, and she had to research and find out because she had to teach that to the kids, right? So
right.
I think age is, and there are a lot of older people that cannot teach. So yeah, so there's like I don't think it's an age thing at all. I think it's just inherent.
Right.
Sometimes you either have you can either teach or you can't. That's it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I kind of I think had that whole thing in my head saying that I think it's an age thing and I can't really do this. But I think I was there for like half a year, and it was also because I was transitioning from the States to India, and one of the faculty at the school had asked me to like come and help out. So I was helping out there. It was cool. I think like how you said it sort of helped me transition into the sort of like into Indian music once more easily. It's because I was so embroiled into the Hollywood style for 18 months of my life that I had to come back to our style again. So it was awesome to have that change. And also, I mean, it's fun to stand at the other end of the classroom and I mean like ask like so I was like I was like in the classroom as a student only 2 years ago. So to be like able to be on the other side so soon and sort of also help these people out with all their aspirations was quite awesome. And also that I think they I mean the amount of enthusiasm at school is amazing in terms of like every day your these students who are always like, sir, help me out with this or help me out with that, and this is and I feel that you are also charged up each and every day in this sort of I mean like a very active way. So like it helps you also. I mean like as like a person, but I feel if I have to eventually teach people, it'll be after some time in life. So yeah.
Okay, so there's no one throwing like paper airplanes at you or anything, right?
Not at me. It's because they thought I was the same age, right? So I think it helped in that sense. We throw it back at me, and then it will become a problematic experience. So, so
Nice,
yeah,
nice, cool. So okay, so Prashant, I'm going to give you 30 seconds to talk about the the most or the best accomplishment you would say in your mind, right? So what is the best accomplishment you think you've done in the music space? You have 30 seconds to talk about it.
We had
So
this thing in the States.
this is
It
the
means so
elevator pitch.
I once conducted an 80-piece orchestra in LA. It was a final exam of our course. It was just a standard thing that I composed. I added some Indian stuff into the orchestra and I added some flute stuff. All that is done. It's all over. The HOD of the program is coming, congratulating me, saying it was awesome and all that. All of it was great, but I think on the way out, some of the orchestra players had come out and they clapped for me on the street, and I found that as I think the thing that I enjoyed the most in terms of. I mean, it was like so honest in terms of the applause was so honest. It was not fake. It was not like, oh, I have to do this, but it was so honest that I felt that hmm, it's interesting when the artist is applauding the artist. So yeah, I
Some
think it was
sort of
that.
validation, right, for your work.
No, it was just like an honest applause. The validation is if AR comes and offers me something, right? But if these artists are just honestly clapping for you and
Yeah.
for your music, it's awesome. Honest applause is something I enjoy a lot. Like I mean, like so, like if you like wowed by I mean, like by something, it's so much more honest than saying that, oh, that harkat was nice, or that akaram was nice, or the gamakam was nice. Like the art itself has to speak overall. So
Yeah.
I'm sort of into that.
Nice. Awesome, Prashanth. So we've been speaking for a while now. We'd love to hear you play the keyboard. Do you have it handy? I hope you do.
I do have it handy, but I don't
Okay.
know what to play because do I have to show the hands as well, or how does it work?
No,
Might
we'll
be
just we trust that you're playing and you're not
right.
yeah,
Okay.
we will believe you.
Let me see. तो पवन है, घटा है, बादल है तू, सावन है तू, ना घर है, ना ठिकाना, तू बता है, रवा है, हलचल है तू, बादल है तू, पर यही रुक जाना, उड़ के कहाँ तू चली, धीरे जरा सारा जहाँ है यही, धीरे जरा धीरे जरा धीरे. So this whole song is a very sarcastic vibe on slowing things down.
This is awesome. And this is your own composition, you said?
Yes, it's
That
my own
is
composition.
so good. That is
Up
so
on
good,
YouTube.
Prashant.
Up on YouTube.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm impressed with how you guys like transform, right? Like when you're talking, you're a different person. When when you're playing music, you just transform into a completely different person. That is so, so, so impressive.
Yeah, I mean, all of us are actors, right? At the end of the day, so artists are actors, actors are artists. You have to keep altering all the time, so it helps.
This is actually more genuine than anything else we've done today. So thank you so much for this.
You should have started with the song, I think.
We should have started with a song, so beautiful.
Edit kar lo.
Totally. But thank you so much. And so for all of you watching this show today, Prashanth, is on CarnaticON. So you can check out some of his work by scanning his QR code. You will be able to find everything we talked about on the website. So please go ahead and check him out, and maybe even give him a holler if you have any opportunity for him. It would be awesome to collaborate with Prashanth. So thank you so much, Prashanth, for your time today. This was fantastic, and I really hope we can do some good work together in this space.
Yes. Hopefully soon, and all the best to you and your initiative. And I hope it grows quite fast and quickly. And I hope I can, help in some form or the other.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'd love to collaborate. We'll be in touch. Thank you so much again for your time today. For all of you watching, we'll see you next week with another artist. Thank you. Bye, Prashanth.
Bye. See you.